Bill DeWeese here from voice-over-training.org. And it's amazing how many life lessons there are that we learn in one area of our life that we can apply to another area of our life. And I'm always learning lessons from, my relationship with my wife, with my children, other experiences that I have that I'm able to apply to my voiceover business. And you may, if you've watched very many of my videos, you may have heard me mention the fact that I'm in the process of training to run the Chicago Marathon, which is chock full of wisdom for those of us who are who are working at growing a business. And it's not my first time. I've run it twice before. The last time when I was 36 years old. Well, I'm 52. So that presents a whole new set of challenges. For one thing, I weigh a few more pounds now than I did when I was 35, 36 years old. And also just being older, it just takes longer, to get there. And when I run, I normally have this, I'll have a thought or a mantra that I'll just kind of think over and over again that just helps me to stay focused on the task at hand. And one of my favorites when I'm running is this one. How do you eat an elephant? The answer is one bite at a time. So I try not to get too focused on the big picture, the 26.2-mile run that I'm preparing for. I try to focus on each step, every stride, every step of my run equals a bite of that elephant. So, and I know if I take enough bites out of the elephant, eventually I will devour the entire thing. Well, today I was thinking on my run, I ran 10 miles this morning, and it was a tough one. It's, of course, anything at this point in life, is a bit of a stretch when it comes to that kind of physical exertion. But I was thinking about, remember the old tale that we heard as a child, the tortoise and the hare? And how the tortoise beat the hare by being slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. Well, I was thinking about that as to how it applied to marathon running. And for marathon running, for me, it's slow and steady finishes the race. I know I'm not going to win the marathon. I'm not a world-class marathoner. The guys that run and the gals that run world-class times are averaging like a little bit over 6 miles per hour in their run. Over 26 miles. Now, for me, that is an all-out sprint. If I can even sprint that fast, I don't know. For me, though, my game is slow and steady because I'm not physically fast. I'm just not. But I know that if I just put one step in front of the other, and if I'm steady and I'm slow, I'm not worried about speed. I'm just worried about consistency, that eventually I will finish that marathon. Now, when guys get together to talk, people that run marathons, the first question they will ask you when you say, you've run a marathon, they'll say, well, what was your time? Because, and I don't know if it's so much among women, but I know guys like to compare time. I think it's an ego thing. Well, I learned long ago that I just have to know that I'm not competing against other people. I'm competing against myself. I'm a 5-hour marathoner, which means I run, like an 11.5 to 12-minute mile. But I can sustain that over a very, very long period of time. And so in the voiceover business, and here's where the application comes in, my encouragement to you, my word of advice to you today is to not allow yourself to get caught up in the game of competing against others. Slow and steady finishes the race. Your job is to finish your race, whatever that is. And you have to define what finishing your race means. Don't worry about comparing yourself against others in their voiceover businesses, how much they make, how fast they got to where they're going. You have to work within your abilities and your resources and have a plan, and know that if you execute that plan consistently over time, you will eat the elephant, or in this case, you will finish the race. So today I just want to encourage you to look at your business kind of like a marathon, and don't compare times. Don't worry about how fast. As a matter of fact, a lot of people, get caught up in having a time frame for their goal. And I know that the common wisdom for goals is that they need to be measurable and they need to have a time connected with them. Well, I would actually advise against that kind of thinking for your voiceover business, because if you get caught up in the thinking of having a time frame that you have to accomplish this by this date, it can become very discouraging if you don't hit that date. I certainly recommend having a goal. You need to know where you're going, and that might be it might be a money figure, it might be in terms of having freedom, spending more time with your family. I mean, I don't know what it is for you. Maybe it's working less days of the week, but whatever it is, you do need to define that. But I would recommend, more importantly than putting a time on it, that you put a plan together and that you execute the plan consistently. Because if you're doing the things you need to do, whether it's every day or you pick 3 days a week or you pick 1 day a week, it doesn't matter, because this is your race. This is your race, and you're only competing against yourself. But if you do those things, that you will get to where you're going, because slow and steady finishes the race. It's been true for, since the beginning of time, and it's true today. If you get caught up in the other stuff, other people and how well other people are doing or not doing, or am I going fast enough? I mean, you will constantly be frustrated in your business. But if you know what you want and you have a workable plan, that you work, again, at your pace, at your speed, but that you continue to put one foot in front of the other. That's the key. And I know I've talked about this many times before. And I guess I try to say it in different ways so that hopefully at some point, if it hasn't yet, it will click with you. That if you have a workable plan, and if you execute that plan, and for you it might mean making 3 contacts to prospects a day. It might mean making 3 contacts to prospects a week. I don't know, and it doesn't matter. But the point is, if you have a workable plan and you do execute it within your time frame, then you can have a confidence knowing that you are getting to where you are going, and you will get to where you are going. It may not happen in a week, a month, it may not even happen in a year, but you will get there. But slow and steady finishes the race. Run it like a marathon. Don't come out of the gate in a sprint and burn out. That was one of the things that I had to focus on today on this run. I knew that if I ran too fast for me, and believe me, my fast is not fast. I mean, there are probably people who walk faster, than I run. Certainly it is a jog, but that's me. That's my game. That's how I run. And I know myself. And I know that if I can, and I know I can sustain that, but if I sustain that over a period of time and I just keep putting one foot in front of another, I will finish. And I know I'm trying to say the same thing, I guess, in a number of different ways, but I just want to encourage you to not compare yourself. Don't worry about it. Slow and steady will win the race for you. Have your plan and execute the plan in a way that works for you and makes sense for you. And you may adjust that as time goes by. But don't get caught up and get frustrated because you're not getting to where you think you should be fast enough, because that is a losing game. And that will cause you frustration and cause you just to give up and quit. Or at the very least, it will slow you down immensely. But if you work within yourself, within your abilities, within your resources, and grow within that as you go, but yet continually work your plan, you will finish the race. And that's what it's all about. It's finishing your race on your terms with the goals that you set. I wish you all the best. And by the way, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to drop me an email at voiceoverexpert@gmail.com. And there are more resources on voice-over-training.org. And I think I've recorded something like 60 of these YouTube videos that I hope that you find encouraging and inspiring, and most importantly, empowering to equip you to grow your business. And they're available on the website as well, voice-over-training.org. Take care, and look forward to talking to you soon.